I guess the last one would be IoT energy is an example that I can think
We
of.
could also talk about maybe social networking too. If
Sure.
we have time.
No, we can talk about
Yeah. So IoT, Internet of Things.
So everyone knows what that is? Yes, no, maybe so?
Yeah.
If not, there's a workshop you guys should.
There's the plug.
Yeah.
So this is basically almost the same exact drawing that I've been giving, just slightly different. Where if you want to pay your internet bill, it's on a 30-day cycle. You want to pay your water bill, it's on a 30-day cycle. Why can't it just be like depending on your usage, right? So the reason, like, I'll simplify it for, like, let's say electricity and like water, right? You use every 30 days. There's a record that gets like you used, 80 gallons of water. You use this much amount of energy. Then the utility is going to charge you, right? We can actually reduce some of those costs because they're also hedging. They're actually giving you that stuff before it actually happens, right? And so like they have to kind of deal with fraud. They have to deal with non-payment. They have to deal with actually providing the service before they actually get paid. Imagine a system where you can kind of just pay as you kind of use the system, right? Like every day or every whatever interval that is decided. Now the price can actually probably go down because they don't have to hedge that much, right? The scale is so much smaller. So that could be a system where, let's say you have a thermostat, you pay your thermostat, and your thermostat will pay your air conditioner and your heater for everything that it needs to kind of do. And the heater will in turn pay the electricity bill.
And this is running autonomously on utilizing smart contracts. So they kind of figure out, they communicate with one another. It's also secure too, because with IoT there's a lot of security breaches that can happen as well, and this would prevent a lot.
Yeah, your sprinkler system could be turned on. If you use so much water, it'll pay the utility first for that immediately.
Yeah.
And it could just be chained all along. I have an example for the airport terminal. So like imagine like the airplane lands, it has like a beacon on the nose. The terminal is there and it has another beacon on it, and when they kind of meet close enough, it goes like, oh yes, this airplane, A577 with 200 passengers at the LAX for this terminal is $8,000, and so that the airplane has value inside of it that just gives it to the terminal immediately. Now, like the airport people don't have to the airline doesn't have to kind of manage that sort of thing themselves.
The devices manage it.
Yeah, the device literally just because the true state happened, value can be transferred immediately.
Has there been a lot of thought as gone into like machine-to-machine economy in terms of?
There are some sort of things. I mean, you can think of like even like your car paying the road if there's a toll. I mean, there are a couple companies exploring that kind of thing, and it'd behoove anyone to kind of just spend some time to kind of think of a scenario and implementing it on Ethereum, because people will throw money at you.
So I know there's kind of a product, I guess, called SolarCoin that has to do with smart contracts essentially for providing solar energy from your house. Is that kind of this idea where... Yeah,
this is all under the umbrella. Like, so for SolarCoin, you basically, if you have a solar panel, you can get paid by giving this energy back into the system. I don't necessarily know how, but you can imagine I'm collecting energy and I give it to Jason. Rather than me kind of walking to Jason's house and like trying to charge him, we can be on this sort of system where I'm generating coins because I'm collecting energy, and I have these coins here, and he wants to use energy, so he pays some money into the system, and so the value of the coins that I have, it goes up, and so I can find someone to go from coin to dollar if that's what I want.
What is the layer there? Would it be like I generate solar coin from my solar panels, I send them, Ethereum's going somewhere to do that transaction, is it like solar coins turn into Ethereum, which can turn into cash? Is that the intermediate? Is everything runs through Ethereum?
Yes. Probably. I mean, for that, it depends on the implementation. It could be Ethereum, but more than likely, what happens is that they'll make their own solar coin token.
Right.
So it's based off of Ethereum. It's still like in the Ethereum's ecosystem, but because you can write code, you can kind of just create another representation that looks like a coin.
I see.
So like you can imagine a device. Like maybe they sell a laptop that's attached to solar coin, and the only way I can power this laptop is if I pay the power cord some dollars, that gets converted to coin, and so there's people putting fiat into the coin, and because people are collecting coins by generating it, they have a a relationship there.
But that solar coin's not then tied to Ethereum in any way. It's just, it's a new thing.
It can be, but it's all still based off on Ethereum.
Okay.
Everything's in Ethereum except the tokens all around it.
Think of it as an abstraction of value.
So like a bunch of heads, like Hydra. You know, there's still one Hydra, but there's all these heads. in Bitcoin, if I wanted to make a new thing, I literally have to fork the code, and I have to make my own network.
Right. Okay.
In Ethereum, I can just like write some code to create a token, but now I'm still part of Ethereum still.
Right.
So I get the benefit of having the network without having to like start from zero.
You have a question?
Yeah, so like, I guess given like interoperability is like a certain ethos of the whole blockchain kind of system is it to kind of like even sidestep the fiat conversion process. So like, because fiat is just a store of value.
Yeah.
So then you
So
just be like, well, instead of converting to fiat, I could probably more efficiently convert to like.
yeah, exactly. So it does not have to go back to fiat. I say fiat for convenience.
Right.
But let's say you have your solar coin and you really want to ride, you could probably pay your guy or someone to convert your solar token to Uber tokens. You know, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, there will probably be an ecosystem. Maybe in order to do the Airbnb, the guy will say like, I want 2 Airbnb and 2 solar tokens equivalent because they want to power their house, right? For those 2 days or whatever day that you want to be there. And you as the user would have to provide those tokens. And so there'd be a system to kind of convert between everything.
And it'd all be sitting on Ethereum, so
it's all
the transparent, you could transfer it in any kind of way. And so really, once you're in that ecosystem, there'd be no need to transfer back to a fiat currency.
Yeah. Questions?
So one thing that I find really interesting about Ethereum is how it captures value, how it creates and captures value. So let's use Facebook for an example, right? So Facebook is a corporation, and they're sitting in between all of our transactions when we're using Facebook and collecting a tremendous amount of data. They likely know more about humanity than any company or government ever. And that information is valuable to the Facebook corporation. And they keep that data locked away in these private vaults to which we do not have access, right? So what's the value that we get? Well, we do get the social network. It's open and connected. You can advertise, post your businesses, share content, get eyeballs and viewership. That's all still based on the client-server relationship. We have this centralized database. So let's think about what that would look like on Ethereum. Well, let's say you're an active content creator, or you actively post and like other people's content. Well, you would actually be rewarded for that. So, for example, the advertiser would essentially pay you directly for the value that you add to the network. So that's, in a sense, we're all kind of sharing in the value creation. And that advertising would essentially be facilitated through a smart contract that you could get paid instantly for that. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of companies that are working on that right now. Akasha Project, Steemit, I believe Library is, where the value of the content that you create on the network actually earns you that money directly versus a Facebook corporation sitting in between taking a cut. Okay, so you
keeping it.
Yeah, keeping it actually, right. And then analyzing that data and then selling advertising back to you. You would all essentially share in that value creation. So that's like an interesting example of a new way that value can be created and exchanged that simply doesn't exist in Web 2.0.
No. So like you make a post, you got a couple of tokens, which means you can do likes or comments or something like that.
Right. And you could trade those tokens.
Rules get generated, I don't know.
You could trade those tokens that you earn on Facebook on Ethereum for Airbnb tokens, or hey, I posted a lot of really relevant content. I can actually use that to pay for my Uber ride, or pay for a place to stay in a new city, or prospectively even a plane ticket somewhere.
Yeah, anything.
Anything, really. Any kind of goods or services.
You want to rent a computer, I don't know.
Yeah.
Rent the room.
So now we have this really interesting ecosystem or economy, where all devices and people are transacting, and the more that they transact, the more value that is created, and the more interesting applications there are to exchange that value and trade that value. Where right now, that value is being funneled back to these siloed databases. So that's kind of the I guess, overall viewpoint of Ethereum and how we believe it's this incredibly revolutionary technology. At very, very early stage, so there's a lot of unknowns, a lot of unknown unknowns regarding this technology.
Yeah.
But
Bunch of razor edges. I would really
Yes.
suggest, you know, since you guys could probably develop or something like that, actually spend some time looking into it.
into solidity.
Yes,
That's
absolutely.
what
But just thinking of like how is it, what kind of application you can make. Like we're in the ticketing thing, so we're going to be taking on Ticketmaster and Live Nation. It's going to suck because they're behemoths, right? Like it's not going to matter. I mean, like, you know, for us, we don't really care. And I'm hoping that other people, like, if they can find that thing that they actually care about and want to just make a product and embed themselves in there, it would be very, very good for you.
And it's the community right now is very open
we're
and
still
sharing.
small.
It's very small, and a lot of us are essentially rebuilding this new internet infrastructure because the way things are now, this walled garden that is the internet is broken. And as opposed to smashing down those walls and trying to open up the internet, because it did promise us in the early 90s to be a decentralized open economy, it is not that. It becomes very difficult for small companies like ourselves to go up against a Ticketmaster or a small company that's doing some interesting social networking tech to go up against the Facebook. So this Web3 based on Ethereum is essentially a whole new playing field. So we strongly encourage those that are technically minded, entrepreneurially minded, to think about these interesting use cases and start to develop with it. And you could be first to market because there's really not that many people right now who are tackling these problems. And the more people we get involved, this strengthens the community.
Strengthens Ethereum and like yourself. Like if you actually manage to break through, since the community is so small, people will kind of like know you if that's like attractive. You know, you could be leading forward like what happens in the future rather than just kind of following it.
Yeah, so it's kind of it's a space for blue sky opportunities. So we're obviously really excited about it, and we hope you guys are too. So.
Yeah, here's some contact information. Is there any like questions or like any real big things, desires? Yes.
I was just wondering if you could talk more about the like transfer. Like how do you envision that working out? Like transferring, you know, coin to coin, like.
Coin to coin. Basically, like let's say I have a bunch of coins, I can go into an open market or an exchange and say like I really want Uber coins, and try to transfer it to him. Or I can even pay my Uber driver in non-Uber coins if they want to allow that. Like they can specify that themselves, or they can make someone can make an application where they can allow for that sort of functionality.
The acceptance of multiple cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, right. Like let's say get a call from the wife. It's like we need some electricity for today and tomorrow. And I could like go to my app and say like, I'm accepting electricity coins because I want to be able to pay that, right?
That makes sense.
Is that something where you think an Oracle could exist too, where like I create an exchange whose purpose is to scan the blockchain and transactions to determine both velocity and current capacity, and therefore I set an exchange rate based on that, and I would be an Oracle who would do the intermediate exchange.
Yeah, and you'll basically get paid for some of that work if drivers find your service good enough. And it'll just be, you can make money either by being a good party, you can make a little money by being a bad party. They're lost for that.
Any other questions, guys?
Oh, sure. Oh, I can give you the slides too, I don't know if they're, yes?
Is ETC a scam? What's the deal?
I don't think it's a scam. I mean, I was tempted to buy a bunch for no good reason, but it's there. It'll probably still exist for a while. I mean, it seems to have a small community who really care about it. It's like it's $16 last I looked like a week ago. It was, I don't know, like 30 cents in December.
Yeah, it was.
I would just know the people who are developing it.
So,
know the people who are involved in an ecosystem.
You could be like a developer, kind of just like a person who's watching the system, or you could also be kind of like a trader, where you kind of just buy a bunch of small coins and just kind of hedging your bets. And that's up to you. You can do with your money as you please. I don't know how much of a scam. I think it's weird. I think it should die. But it's there, and I don't really care too much.
What's the cost per coin right now?
What's the cost per coin? $2.29 for Ether was the last time I looked at, about like an hour and a half ago.
How fast is it growing?
So I can't, you know, the rate's not consistent, but in December it was 650, right now it's 229.
Are you guys planning on launching an ICO?
Yeah, we will be doing a token release. We're aiming for August, probably the end of next month or June, sometime in July. We'll be releasing like an MVP and our white paper, open to be for review so that we can do a token release.
Yeah, if you go to HelloSugoi.com, there's a field you can put.
Super small.
There's a field you can put your email address in, and we'll send you periodic updates.
Yeah.
If you
We
wanna
also have a
follow
meetup in
progress.
downtown if you ever just kind of pass by.
When is that?
It's usually every Monday, but we actually have one tomorrow.
Yeah, one tomorrow night. We are very active on Twitter as well, so if you guys are on social media, you can follow us at HelloSugoi on Twitter. You can keep updated with us there. Yeah. So we have some
Oh yeah.
some fake tickets here. Does anyone want one of these here?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
Some of them are like forks of Bitcoin.
There.
Some
So
of
which
them
one's
are
most Ethereum?
All right.
Must be Ethereum based on. Would they be the open? Is it based on?
Yeah.
Ethereum and something. There are other coins based on it.
Yeah, sure. What do you guys have
Not
for a
built
meetup
on
downtown?
all.
It's
Across
usually-
campus,
Yeah,
300 Wilshire.
Yeah, it's across campus,
There you go.
usually every other Monday.
One of these things.
So the next one might be like the 9th or 10th. We still have to schedule it, unfortunately.
That's in LA,
But
right?
it's a Monday thing, every 2 weeks.
I probably will come by tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, tomorrow's is, yeah.
6:30. Starts at 6:30, goes to 9.
If you look at Learn, Teach, Code and look up real world blockchain, you'll find our link. Or just email us and I can give you the link directly.
All right.
What's
Right
usually
on.
like the agenda for the meetups?
Our general, the meetups are titled, so we have a series right now called Real World Blockchain, where I kind of do basically what I did now, where we just kind of describe scenarios and applications of it. So we did like music, we did ads, where tomorrow we're doing the share economy. So I go a little more detail and a couple more examples.
Have kind of an open conversation about it.
Exactly. We just want you to complain, kind of like say, like, what about this case? You know, how can I pay for this? Why would I want to do this? That sort of thing. It's really just a way to enlighten people, kind of understand what technology is, rather than kind of go like, oh, it's blockchain, it does the mining thing, it does the hash and stuff like that. We want to get you to understand the application.
Okay, and do you have to have, I mean, do you expect people to have like some experience with this already?
No, absolutely not. The idea is that you come in with no experience. We kind of give you a very brief overview of what the
Basically, it's
technology
almost
is.
like today's thing. Except
Yeah, it's very
touch
simple.
multiple things.
We'll just kind of get to a more granular level.
Yeah, it's a little more longer.
But no, you don't need to have any experience with this world. It's just kind of, we just want to get as many people involved in the community as possible. All about the education. Right on. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, cool.